Hello everyone, and today we're on Redmond's Football Report. And my name is Redmond, if you're new to the show, and Martin French is right here. Who's my dad?
Yes. I provide the expert European perspective while Redmond is speaking for the Colonials. Right, so as always, we have a mix of stuff. We have our results from the week gone by.
Mm-hmm. Our last one was on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And before we get started, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so you can always know when we have a video.
And while it doesn't look like we're actually playing right now, this will be going up later, so please do feel free to comment and let us know who you follow and what you're interested in hearing about on this.
You can do the under teams only in Duncannon and the US Racing and Louisville City. But any other teams, we need the grown-ups, not like under 20s, like Zanzibar. It's national team.
Now, you probably could find out more about Zanzibar's under-20 national team if it existed, because Zanzibar is a part of a country, not an actual country.
Yeah.
Right, well, we'll crack on and we'll have a look at the results from the week just gone by. Here they are. These are, as usual, Redmond's predictions are in the red and mine are in the purple. We have Alger against Esperance Sportif in the CAF Champions League, and that was a 1-1 draw. Atletico Madrid lost to Chelsea 1-0, so we're both one each after this in terms of our predictions. We were both right, and there was a win for Bayern Munich over Lazio, and Liverpool in the Copa Libertadores from Uruguay did go on to beat Universidad Católica, which is one I got and you didn't. We both thought that Atalanta could be... Well, Redmond thought that Real Madrid would thump Atalanta and I went the other way. And I would maintain that if that sending off hadn't occurred, it wouldn't have gone that way. 88th minute of a winner for Real Madrid in that against 10 men. Man City did indeed beat Borussia Mönchengladbach 2-0.
I was very, very close, but Daddy was exactly right.
And CD Marathon did beat Vida 1-0 in Vida's town, which I can't remember.
And I got it right.
Yes,
but
you did.
Only if I got away that 2 to a 1 and the 1 to a 0.
You got that it was a win.
Yeah.
The United States completed their victory in the She Believes Cup by winning 6-0 against Argentina.
That's a really big win.
And contrary to what I thought, it was actually mostly the old stagers and one of the Muse girls who scored the goals. I think it was Rapinoe, Press, and maybe Carly Lloyd. I can't remember. Currently going on, Sharjah are losing 2-0 to Al-Jazira in the United Arab Emirates in the Arabian Gulf League. So we will be updating on that. Half time has just started there and is currently still 2-0 as we have there. Don't fiddle with that. And sit on your seat.
You were saying it was live.
Well, we'll be giving live updates until about 15 minutes into that game, as we normally finish up at about half past the hour. Philips Sportsverein, PSV, of Eindhoven won 2-1 against Olympiacos, which meant that they went out an 86th minute consolation goal on the night, but a winner overall, led Olympiacos to win 5-4 on aggregate. Cracking game. PSV were going through on away goals until that late goal. And meanwhile, in domestic fare, Barcelona beat Elche 3-0 in Spain.
Yep, we were both very close. I was 2 goals away, but he was 1 goal away.
Mm-hmm. In terms of a game of the week, I'd have to say we'd want to go to...
Benfica against Arsenal.
Arsenal was a really good...
No.
3-2
Rangers
game. We don't mention that team.
Yeah.
Sit down properly and stop trying to look over everybody's shoulder. In terms of excitement, I was right. PSV Olympiacos was the bomb. as games go. Sorry, should I say Dabam? Get your face out of that, Mr. Snoops. Right. So, let's get on with previewing the games for the week ahead. So, we're going to start off that's last week, predicting games that were already played. We're going to start off this weekend in Guatemala, where they're into the second game of the season. And we're looking at CSD Municipal against Guastatoya. I think, is it Club Deportivo Guastatoya? Either way, it's the second game of the season. Municipal topped their group, but Guastatoya won the playoffs for only, I think, their second major trophy this season in the Apertura. Surprisingly evenly balanced history between these two teams since 2014, where Municipal have won 11 games. There have been 10 draws and 10 wins to Guastatoya, which I would not have expected to be the case, seeing as Municipal are probably the most successful team in Guatemala. I think they even won the CONCACAF Champions League, or whatever it was called, back in 1974 when they did win it. Redmond, who do you think is going to win this one? CD Municipal against Guastatoya.
I don't think anyone's going to win. I'm going for a straight 1-1.
1-1 draw. I'm going to see a 1-0 win to Municipal, it being early in the season. Guastatoya are top of the league at the moment, but it's after a game. One of them won the game, one of them lost the game. Please wear your shirt properly and stop messing, okay? I know this is your show, but you don't have to be a distraction from your show during it. My pick for the week is what we'll go to next, which is also an early season, in fact a season opener. The game between Jeongbuk FC and FC Seoul. Properly speaking, we should be calling this Jeongbuk Hyundai Motors FC to give you some meaty background in that. While
a little quick fact, actually in civilization, Seoul is a city-state.
It is. We are in South Korea, or Korea, depending on who you talk to. And FC Seoul is actually not from Seoul. It dates back to 1983. But they moved, I think they were in Cheongju for a while, and they moved around, and eventually, really, they're only FC Seoul since 2004. So they're more recent than the World Cup, if you like. They're somewhat unique at the moment in that they're the last team, the last team to win the league that wasn't Jeongbuk FC, who were League and Cup champions. Mm-hmm. And they are also... Jeongbuk have won it 4 times in a row, and they'd won it the 2 times previous to Seoul's win back in 2016, I'm going to say. 2016, I think it was. So there should be an interesting start to the season. Jeongbuk's season, as I said, was all-conquering last year, while Seoul finished 9th in the lower half and out of the playoffs for the fun stuff. Mm-hmm. Stop picking your teeth, biting your nails, and tell me, what do you think is going to be the score in this game?
Yep. Yes, that's another good commenting down below. Comment what you think the scores are going to be. No.
What do you think the scores are going to be?
I think it's going to be 3-0 to Jeongbuk FC.
Okay. Well, that one takes place, I think, on Saturday morning or evening. Don't put that in your mouth. People do not want to watch you putting your toes in your mouth. Staying in Asia, we're going to India on Sunday, where it's the last game of the first phase or the league phase of the Indian Hero Super League, I think it is. Is it? I think the I-League is the cricket or the second tier. Either way, it's Mumbai City against ATK Mohun Bagan. It's currently 2-1. Second place first. It's not 2-1. Mumbai trail by 3 points to ATK Mohun Bagan, the Calcutta team. So now you know where they are. Mumbai, Calcutta. Mumbai, they're basically... Their history is they won the 2015 Fair Play Award. That is the history of Mumbai City. Whereas ATK, as they were known prior to this season, won the last league and two previous ones of the Hero Super League. Meanwhile, Mohun Bagan dates back to 1889, so it's one of the oldest clubs not only in India but in the world. But because they've recently joined up with ATK, which was Atletico de Calcutta, basically are simultaneously the oldest and youngest club in the Super League. Interesting stuff there. Mohun Bagan had been in the I-League, and then they joined the Super League by amalgamating with the other big Kolkata team. The top four of the league qualify for the playoffs. These two teams are in the playoffs either way, which means that the pairings are going to likely see them meet in the final if they can both get through. This is the last game before we get to the playoffs, so does it mean anything to these teams? Not really, but going in knowing that you are top into a potential final in a couple of games' time might mean a lot. Redmond, Mumbai City, Mohun Bagan. What do you think?
By 1.
Yeah.
2 ATK Bagan.
So it's Mumbai City 1, ATK Mohun Bagan 2. Grand. I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw. I think neither side's going to want to show their full power, but you never know. These games are a bit crazy. I think the Hero Super League is starting to calm down and be a little bit more followable in a weird way now that they have a place in the AFC Champions League. But we'll see. And speaking of top first versus second, or second if you like, hosting first, we go now to Portugal, where on Saturday evening we have Porto hosting Sporting Club. Sporting Club are 10 points clear, even though they're only 1 point ahead. They've had 14 games still to go, so it's far from cut and dried, and losing this could really dent their dynamic and their speed in terms of this being the first time in years that they have a real chance of winning the league. The two played out a 2-2 draw in the Avalada in they played a 2-2 draw out in Lisbon in October. Both sides appear to be practically full strength, so this should actually be a really good game, and it'll be hopefully an exhibition for the quality of football in Portugal right now. Redmond, Porto, Sporting Club. What's the score going to be?
1-1.
There you go. He's reckoning a draw. I'm going to say, because they seem to be doing this, that Sporting Club can pull out a late winner. I don't see them going behind, but I can see it ending up 2-1, or as he guesses, 1-1. 2-1 is my prediction for the game. We'll move from our feature games into the realm of the Redmond selections now for a little spell. And we're going to start off in Spain, neighbouring Spain, in very nearby Sevilla, where Sevilla played Barcelona. This is, again, fourth versus third, 2 points between the two teams, but Sevilla have a game in hand, which means that Sevilla, in theory, if they win their game in hand, go ahead. And if they win this one, they'll go ahead anyway. Sevilla haven't lost in the last 3 games against Barcelona. They've basically won the game in the Copa del Rey and they drew the other 2 games. Barcelona are currently actually only 2 points behind Real Madrid and on the same games played, which I think is 24. Atletico Madrid have a game in hand and 7 points ahead of Barcelona, 5 points ahead of Real, who they also have a game in hand on. But it does feel like they're sort of stuttering a little bit at this stage of the league. But this is about Sevilla and it's about Barcelona. And lately, Sevilla looked the better team. Redmond, Sevilla against Barcelona. What do you think the score going to be?
I think this will be a very interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
That is the score.
A finger to a finger. They are going to be chopping off body parts in the south of Spain for this game.
No, it's going to be 1-1.
Oh, 1-1. That would be clearer than just putting fingers up that people can't see. I'm going to go myself with 2-1 to Sevilla. Rakitic didn't have a great game during the week, but I think, last week. But I think they're gonna pull it back, and I fancy them to win this one. Right, moving to Italy as we go almost on a directly westerly or easterly route. Hellas Verona host Juventus. Juve are third, while Verona are ninth. There's about 11 points between the two teams. When they played back in October, they drew. And Verona have a very good defence, particularly against the top teams. They've only conceded 26 goals all season, which puts them in the top 5 or 6 teams in terms of defence. However, it is easy to forget that Juventus still have the best best defence in the league, as they've only conceded 19 goals total. Of course, we need to remember that while Juve are third, they aren't quite the Juve that we have expected in the past. Currently, Inter have quite a significant 8-goal advantage on Juventus in goal difference, but Juventus are still the second team in terms of goal difference. Redmond, Juventus against Verona.
I don't think Verona can hold their defence for long. 3-0 Juventus.
3-0 Juventus. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Juventus win, as I think the defence is going to hold out against a Juve team that does not look confident in front of goal. But we'll see on... Is that Sunday? No, I think that's Saturday night. Moving to staying with the men's teams, we will look into Britain right now, into England, where Sheffield United play against Liverpool. This is the bottom of the league right now on 11 points. It is a very, very tough year for Sheffield United. They're playing 6th place Liverpool. Liverpool have won their last 3 games against Sheffield United. I think a 1-0, a 2-1 and a 2-0 victory. But they have been in a bit of a slump. And that slump has been quite poor in the league. But could it turn around here? Perhaps. Their massive injuries continue. We now have realised that Alisson, as well as, Klopp's mother, Alisson's father, was poorly and now, unfortunately, dead. Rest in peace. Maybe they're going to be more on it now, especially seeing as John Egan is out for Sheffield United. And the Irish player, John Egan, is actually one of their best players, certainly solid in defence. They're missing a few other players like Jack Robinson and is it Callum O'Connell, something like that? I can't remember. Jack O'Connell. Sorry, I'm getting me Jacks and me Callums mixed up. Redmond, Sheffield United against Liverpool. What's the score going to be?
Sheffield United actually is going to have a strong defence. 1-1.
1-1, okay. I'm going to say that Liverpool are missing something like 6 players who have in the past year played central defence for them. I mean, one of them is Jordan Henderson. That's a bigger blow again. But I think this is going to be sort of like the burst back to life. But the defence is not solid yet. It'll take time for players like Karabakh to settle in, and especially as they're settling in as a man standing in for a man. I'm going to go for the most exciting game we've predicted, or the pair of us have predicted, as it being a 4-2 win to Liverpool.
Yep, we've always had little scores, but today we're going to have a big one. And you remember the biggest score we've ever had in prediction in this whole year is Ferguson's.
Yes.
8-3 win to Barcelona. That is pretty big.
It was a very big win, and it did not happen. Yeah. So let's jump ahead around, and we'll go back to Italy now and have a look at who Juventus Femminile are playing. Feet down off the table. San Marino Academy are hosting Juventus in the latest round of the Serie A Femminile. It's 10th against first, but it's 10 out of 12. The bottom 2 go down. San Marino Academy are actually safe for the time being. They have a 4-point cushion to Bari and Napoli. Juve won the earlier game in Juventus's training facility 2-0 earlier in the season, which is a surprise considering Juventus have won every game, and many of them by quite a big score. Juventus have had a lot of players out on international duty this week. Bonansea scored 2 for Italy. Girelli got 1. There was one of the players, I can't remember her name, is Argentine, so she was over in the US playing in the She Believes Cup. So there's a lot of players coming back from their duty. Will they be able to pull them back together after jet lag and what have you? I don't know. Redmond, what do you think the score is going to be?
I think they're going to push it back, but the goalkeeper is going to be a little unconfused because he gives away a goal. She gives away a goal.
Thank you.
I mix up he's and she's.
Score for the game.
San Marino Academy 1, Juventus 3.
Okay, so he's going for a 3-1 win. I'm also going for a 2-goal margin. I'm going to say possibly 2-0. I don't see players like Gamma letting anybody past them, to be honest, at the moment. Certainly not in the bottom 5 of the bottom 6 of the league. You need to be in the top division to be scoring easy on Juventus. We'll see what happens, as always. Moving back to Spain again, and we're going to have a look at the bottom. Get your feet off the table and stop tapping the table. We're going to be looking at the bottom of the Spanish league, where Logrono play Santa Teresa. We have 16th hosting 15th. It seems to be the theme, hosting the team above you. Out of 18, the bottom 4 go down. So both of these teams are currently in the relegation placings, and they're not in good form. They've both won one game in the last how many? In the last 5. Santa Teresa have a 2-point advantage, but Logrono have a game advantage. So if they win their game in hand, they can go above. But this is the game that matters, as you can imagine, and whoever wins this is going to be looking a lot rosier about the prospect of getting out of relegation. It's interesting, though. The game before last... the game before last... Logrono held Barcelona to a 2-0 win, which is, while it's not a win, it's an incredible result against a team that is literally putting 6 past others regularly. They've won every game this season, and they don't seem like they're going to be slowing down. Logrono also have the better goal difference. But it also must be said that in that game before last, Santa Teresa beat Atletico Madrid in Madrid. Atletico, who are in the chasing pack just behind Barcelona. But then in the last game, they lost to Huelva, who are only 2 points ahead. They could have gotten out of the basement if they'd to win the 2 games in a row. And it was the easier team to beat that they lost to. Redmond, who do you think is going to win between Logrono and Santa Teresa?
I think Logrono can smash Santa
Teresa.
I just don't know why, but it's 3-1 to Logrono.
You don't know because I don't know, because we don't follow this part of the game closely enough. But I'm going to go, looking on form, with Logrono winning 1-0, scraping past with a better defence and getting valuable points to go ahead by a point. Who knows how far from the bottom they'll be at the end of that. We're finishing up by going south from there to Africa, to Casablanca to be precise, where Wydad Casablanca play Kaizer Chiefs on Sunday in a make-up game for the CAF Champions League group stages. Kaizers, as we saw earlier or last week, lost to Horoya while at home. It's the second group in the game for both game in the group for both of these teams. Kaizers are not doing well. They're currently 10th, while Wydad just started their league. While Kaizers have played 17 games in the league, Wydad have played just 7, and they're already top of the table by a point or 2. There's very little. There's seldom very much in these games, particularly against the big nations. Coming from South Africa and coming from the Batola in Morocco, you expect a big game. You expect a good game. Redmond, what do you expect to be the score in this big game? Wydad Casablanca
1. Kaizer Chiefs 2.
Okay, so the victory going to South Africa. I can't not look at that win for the Guineans in South Africa, so I'm going to say Wydad Casablanca 2, Kaizer Chiefs 0. Wydad are a bigger team and looking better at the moment. So, final game of the week, and it's the last game. All our games are on Saturday and Sunday this week to make up for all our games, none of our games being on Saturday. Gremio play Palmeiras in the final of the Copa dos Brasil. The Brazilian league finished last night at, I think it was like 2:30 in the morning somewhere. No, it was they finished last night about 9:30, 10:30 Brazilian time. And even though Flamengo lost, they won the league because Internacional could only draw away to Corinthians. So Flamengo are the champions. Here we are looking at the team that was 6th and the team that was 7th. Playing out for the... let me get me bits. Playing out a 2-legged final for the title of the Brazilian Cup. Now, important to note that this is the culmination of a long cup campaign. Basically, they take the top 3 or 4, depending on the state, teams from each state, to a total ordinarily of about 91, and these teams play out along the way to get there. Ordinarily, as you would imagine, big teams are left, and so we have Gremio and Palmeiras playing in the final. Gremio have been middling the season, while Palmeiras have been Copa Libertadores champs. Redmond, what do you think is going to be the end result of this first leg of the final?
Al-Jazira won.
Gremio
1, Palmeiras 2.
Good, and I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw between the two of them. And again, as always, we'll see when we see. Yep. So that is our list of games for this weekend. If you check it out at the end, you'll see that there's a lot of them are making a pretty perfect Sunday sandwich, where you get a game, a little break, another game, tiny little break. There's a few other ones interloping, but in terms of our featured games, it's a decent weekend's entertainment.
Yep.
Redmond.
Bye, everyone, on Redmond's Football Report.
Okay, then we're saying bye. Here are the previews. We will see you next week.